Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. It is Sat Chat time. I hope you're having a great day, a great week, a great weekend. Oh, it's been a good week. It's been busy, but it's summer and it's been all good busyness for the most part. And yeah, I'm getting set to do a class for Michael's right after this. I've got to check in with them in about an hour to do the tech check. But yeah, I'm feeling like I've got pretty much everything. Oh gosh, I shouldn't even say that out loud. I'm just gonna knock on wood right now. Like, I've got this day figured out, because then things will go terribly wrong. But I got my World Watercolor Month sketch already done today, and the prompt was widened, so I did this eyeball here being yanked open. And this tutorial for this rose is actually on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out. It's real time and I just posted it the other day, and let me tell you, it is not doing great. So if you do like the real time long videos, it's about 45 minutes real time, and you want to paint along, please go check it out. Because I'm not sure if people don't want the longer videos or YouTube doesn't serve them up, or a combination of the both. But anyway, it's there for anybody that wants it, and if you don't care, then that's fine too. You don't have to watch it. Speaking of long tutorials, I just put that up in Critique Club. I love how this came out. It was so enjoyable to paint. And I took this photo of, we have this tomato bush, or it was like a hanging basket. And so it was expensive too. It was like $40. This is like big hanging tomato basket. And I was kind of hemmed and hawed, but we decided to get it. And it has been such a bounty of tomatoes. It's been wonderful. So one day when I was, we put the tomatoes that we pick each day in this little like crystal dish. And I'm like, oh, that it was sitting on the railing as I was filling it up. I'm like, that is so pretty. So I grabbed my phone and I took a photo, and like, I think I'm going to paint that. So I did. And it was really, really enjoyable. So use the good stuff, and you want to use the good paper on this, because masking fluid, we use masking fluid, and you need a robust paper for that. But yeah, use the good dishes. Don't lock them away in a china cabinet, especially if you don't have little kids around. If it's, if you're a grown-up, you're probably not going to break them, probably not going to chip them. Get them out and use them, because do you want to enjoy them while you're alive, or just like our supplies, do you want to enjoy them while you're alive, or do you want somebody that pays 5 cents at a yard sale to enjoy them? You should get to enjoy your stuff. So yeah, use the good stuff. Ironically, that's the only like potted hanging thing we bought. We were all ambitious when we were shopping, as the case with most DIY projects go. We're very ambitious when we're in the store. And so we bought a bunch of different plants to go in other planters that we have, and to go in like hanging baskets that we had left over, because we bought the bougie hanging baskets last year. They were so pretty. They were gorgeous. Loved them. Like, oh boy, that's kind of expensive. Maybe we'll just buy some plants and put them in the hanging baskets we already have. Use what you have. Except I forgot what kind of people we are. We are not ironically, I'm not a DIYer around the house. No, Jason bought me a bunch of basil. He did plant those. Him and Lila planted those, and that's been doing great. I've been making all kinds of pesto and stuff. It's wonderful. But the flowers just, they're getting leggy. They're in their little plastic, they're in those little plastic things from the nursery, those little 6-pack plastic things. They're not looking good. They're not doing well. My friend Karen came over to work out, and she looks at my porch, she goes, huh, plants are still on the porch. I'm like, yeah. She's like, do you want some help planting those? I'm like, I don't know. I think it might be too late. Too late for them. The time has passed. I don't know. Hopefully we'll get them in the ground. We should just buy the bougie hangers, because that is our, you know what? It's kind of like when you go to a craft fair, or maybe you're vending at a craft fair and somebody comes by and like, I can make that, or you can make that. But it's like, but will ya? But did ya? This has already been made. Somebody already made this. There it is. That's how I should try to think like that. Like, what would I say to somebody at a craft fair if they're like, you can make that? I'm like, yeah, but I didn't, and they have, so there you go. There it is. You want it? Yeah, that's penny wise and pound foolish is what I would say. But one area where I was not penny wise and pound foolish this week was, or finally, because sometimes I buy something to make something and we finally do get around to making it, and it was mung beans. And so I don't know if you've ever tried, my diet is vegan, in case I don't bring it up too much, because there's so much like people have an opinion about vegans, and I feel like it's one of the it's definitely a lifestyle that gets made fun of a lot. So but my diet is vegan anyway. There's this product called Just Egg, and it's really good. It's like this, like, there's like a bottle, it's expensive, and there's only like 3 servings in it. I don't even know what it costs now, because I don't think I bought it since before the pandemic. But anyways, it has like, it's meant to be similar to egg in recipes, such as like I'll use ground flaxseed if I'm doing something baked and I want something eggy, or maybe even chia seeds, something that will kind of bind like that and get kind of gooey. But for if you say wanted to make a breakfast scramble, I'd usually just throw some tofu in there and saute it up with some vegetables, do a breakfast scramble. But you could use just egg and get something kind of like an omelet or whatnot. So I heard that you can make these out of mung beans. Mung bean is the #1 ingredient in the just egg, and mung beans are pretty cheap. And I can actually link to the ones that I bought on Amazon in the video description. It's a huge container, and you might not want that much, but it's not that much money for the amount of stuff you can make with it. So I watched a few recipes. Basically, you soak the beans overnight and then you rinse them off and you puree them with like some garlic powder, some onion powder, some salt, some turmeric, some water, and some chickpea juice and some baking soda. I mean, the recipes vary. Basically, you're pureeing up the soaked mung beans, and then you're going to cook them in a pan. And so I did that, and I wouldn't say they're eggy. They're not as like fluffy as just egg, but I actually have really enjoyed having mung beans for breakfast every day this week. I'm kind of cooking them up in a pan, and this morning, I've got to show you, I took a picture of it because I was so proud of myself. Now, you must understand, me being proud of myself is probably like somebody's base level cooking ability. I'm not somebody that like, I don't like to garden, I don't like to cook. I'm fairly useless. Let's be honest here. But let me show you what I made because I took a photo of it. Okay. And I got ketchup, a drizzle of ketchup because I'm super classy. But that was so good. It like stayed together and it rolled up. And so then I was thinking, well, that was good because it's savory. I have garlic and onion and turmeric in there for seasonings, a little bit of salt, pepper. And like I didn't have that. White pepper was something people were using, or no, not white pepper, white pepper. White pepper was what people are using. They say it's very sulfury, but it's like, I don't necessarily want sulfury flavored food, so I didn't have that. I didn't go out of my way to get it. But I was thinking if I did that and didn't put any spices in, then I could make crepes or pancakes or something with that, and it would be like almost a total protein and fiber pancake. And because mung beans in a certain, well, I don't think you'd have a full serving, because a full serving would be like, maybe you would. It would be like 350 calories and 24 grams of protein and like 14 grams of fiber. But I don't think I don't know. I gotta measure it and soak it and see. Because like, you can measure it up, but then you soak it and it becomes so much more. Then you puree it with water and it becomes so much more. So I don't know. But it sticks with me until lunch, which like if I have oatmeal, like I usually would have oatmeal for breakfast if I was having anything, and I'm hungry, like before lunch, I'm hungry by 11. So it's like, why did I bother having breakfast if I'm going to be hungry at 11? But this definitely, like it's almost 1 o'clock and I'm not even hungry at all. And I had that like at, before 9. But, and I started doing my weights this week. I hung my disco ball. I just did this yesterday afternoon. I hung the disco ball in the weight area. So, so we have a weight bench, like one of those benches that you put weights on a dumbbell and you do bench presses and stuff. And it's got that thing for your legs, to the leg lifts or whatever. But the bar you put the weights on already weighs 47 pounds. So I laid down on that bench to bench press the bar thinking, it's going to be a piece of cake. No, I can't bench press the bar. That's how much of a weakling I am. I cannot bench press a 47-pound bar. So I got my dumbbells, my little freehand dumbbells. What do you call them? The single ones. Are those yeah, those are dumbbells. Barbells. A barbell is the thing that goes across the bench press machine. So I got my little dumbbells, and they're 8 pounds. I have 3 5s, 8s, and 10s. There might be some 15s around here, but I'm using the 8s, and I'm doing 3 sets of 10 curls, and I'm doing 3 sets of 10 bench presses, and that is tiring my arms out. And I've done it twice. I did it Tuesday night, and I did it this morning after I walked the dog. And so I think I'm gonna go for that 3 times a week, and then go up in weights as it gets easy. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Ironically, I can plank for like a minute, over a minute, and my body weight is much more than that. But maybe just because it's just a different muscle, I don't know. And I'm doing occasional planks and stuff like that. I'm just trying to make it fit into my day where it doesn't seem like a total drag, because weightlifting is so boring, to me anyway. So I gotta work it in, because I don't want to be frail. I don't want to feel frail as I get older. I don't want to feel off balance. I have pretty good balance. I'm thinking about, I don't like yoga per se. I've taken classes with different people. It's not my cup of tea, but my husband does the DDP yoga, and he buys a subscription to that, which is the wrestler, Diamond Dallas Phillips, Diamond Phillips. I don't know. He's a like a WWF guy, I guess. And so he's got this kind of like, ooh, intense yoga. And so I'm like, oh, maybe I would like intense yoga because I'm an intense person. You know, I'm not like, listen to your body and, you know, that's great. You know, I can't meditate. I just get bored with yoga. Yeah, I'm going to build those muscles. That's what I want to do. I want some results. But I'm thinking about that. I also like efficiency though. So if I can just do some reps and be done with it, call it a day, that's my cup of tea, because I definitely prefer cardio. I like to do that a lot more. But I'm gonna be stronger, like hiking and paddleboarding and all of that stuff. I'll be able to lug more stuff when I'm hiking, more art supplies when I'm going to go out and plein air paint. So I think that would be really a good thing. Last Friday we went to the waterfalls to paint in Monroe, and there were the young people that were like jumping off of the rocks into the pools down below. And I had a little yearn. Like, to be brave like those young people and jump off into the rocks. But this part of me is like, I don't want to break anything, and I don't know what's under that water. You know, this part of like the practical person breaks through and says, no, don't jump off those rocks, Lindsay. So I didn't, but I still managed to fall. But, you know, and I don't know if it's the mung beans. Well, maybe it's the mung beans. I don't know if it's the mung beans or the weight training or whatever. But so I did slip on the rocks, because we did go in like where it wasn't so deep, and we got in the water to cool off. And when I was climbing up on the slippery, sharp rocks, I did slip. I was wearing sandals, and I slipped, and I got all stove up. I skunned my knee, and I got a big bruise on my foot, but the bruise is already gone, and my knee the scab is already gone. And I had 3 little scabs on there. And actually, if you go into Instagram and you want to see the gory picture of when I just did it, you can, that picture's from last Friday. And then I had banged my arm on the ferry to go out to Monhegan last Wednesday on like the way to when you want to walk outside. I banged my arm on the metal like doorway, and I had this huge bruise, and that's already healed up. So I don't know if it's a healing power of mung beans or the sun or the power of positive thinking or whatever, but I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Mung beans for the win. Weights for the win. I don't know. We shall see. So what else is new this week? I have a list. I've kept myself a little list here. I'm so happy. It was tasty, and it looked good. It stayed together. I mean, it cracked a little bit because it's mung beans. It's not like flour. But I'm like, man, oh man, I made jam. We went strawberry picking a couple weekends ago, and I made this delicious jam. And I was thinking, what if I made this without seasonings in it, and then I put peanut butter and my homemade jam on it and made myself a little crepe? Ooh la la. How fabulous would I be? That would be like a dessert breakfast. And speaking of healthy desserts, I had such a sweet tooth yesterday. I had my mung beans for breakfast, and then I had a nice big bodacious salad for lunch. And actually, it was funny because I was eating my salad, and I was sitting outside on the deck enjoying the weather. I looked down at my hand. I'm like, oh my god, is that a weird mole? And I was kind of like freaking out. And then so then of course I'm like, or is it grime, because I get grimy, so I like. I did one of those, I'm like, oh phew, it was balsamic dressing from my salad. But then I thought, wouldn't it be $1 million idea for like a dermatologist to come up with a website called like weirdmoles.com or something, and people could like use it. It could be an app, and people could take a picture of their weird mole, and the dermatologist can look at it and say, oh, is that weird? You need to come in and see me, or no, you're fine. Or wash your hands, Lindsay, that's balsamic vinegar. You know, whatever. I'm telling you, $1 million idea, and even extra $1 million idea if AI was trained, because I heard AI is more reliable in reading like X-rays than human eyes, because it can pick up on like differences and doesn't get tired or doesn't have prejudices and stuff. So what if AI did the triage, and it could tell you if your mole was like suspicious or if it was fine, and then if it was suspicious, then you could set you up with an appointment with a dermatologist who could like, you know, cut it out or whatever they do. $1 million idea. Why has nobody thought of that? Maybe somebody has thought of it, but in case I haven't, if there's any dermatologists out there that want to make the millions, there you go. Don't be evil. If you're an AI tech bro watching this, I can't imagine why you would be, but if you are, don't be evil. Make it good for the masses, please. Bill Gates has enough money. Jeff Bezos has enough money. All those, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't call them evil. I don't know them, but they all have enough money. Let's save people from skin cancer. And I was like, man, because on your hands it's so hard to keep sunscreen on. I slather up. I get out of the shower and I slather up, because I don't know what the day will bring. Maybe I'll go paddleboarding. Maybe I'll go to the beach. Maybe who knows. So I try to like just get completely coated in sunscreen right off the bat, but you wash your hands so many times during the day, and so it's impossible to keep sunscreen on. And plus sunscreen's greasy, right? So it's like you don't want greasy hands if you're going to do painting. You don't want to get the sun. Why is sunscreen so greasy? You don't want to get the sunscreen grease on your watercolor paper if you're going to do some painting. So you know, you got to remember, oh, I got to put sunscreen on, but I like to paint outside, so I got to put sunscreen on this side of my hands, wipe sunscreen off this side of my hands. It's just a mess. I don't know. I should probably wear gloves, but, oh, I got some paint or something on my chair, I just noticed. Anyway, I should probably wear gloves, but I don't. And it's summer. I don't want to wear gloves, but where was I? I was saying something about I was eating salad. We had mung beans. I was eating salad. Oh, and I had a sweet tooth. So I was up on the deck. Massive relief that I didn't have a melanoma on my hand, and I had a sweet tooth. So I thought, oh gosh, I don't really want to bake. It's really hot today. What do I want? I want something peanut buttery. Peanut butter and chocolate. That sounds good. And so I was saying, what can I make this peanut butter and chocolate that I don't have to cook, that I don't have to bake, that would be healthy? And I remembered my keto peanut butter balls and vegan keto peanut butter balls. So I just quickly looked at a recipe. Like, I don't need a recipe for that. Everyone is different, and it's really not that hard. So, and honestly, you can pretty much use what you got. I love to use what you have recipe in art and in cooking. So I got the KitchenAid out, my favorite kitchen appliances now that I never would have bought myself, but my son Jackson got me for my birthday, like either last year, maybe it was Christmas. It was an occasion like over a year ago. By the way, he got me a portable pickleball net this year. How perfect! He is such a good gift giver. He doesn't get that from me. I'm the world's worst gift giver. But he just picks the perfect gifts, things I would never think to buy myself. But I have a portable pickleball net now, so watch out. You're going to get invited to play pickleball if you know me in real life. So you might not want to answer that phone call if my name is on the screen, because you might be invited to go, unless you want to go play pickleball, then you should answer it. In fact, why don't you give me a call? Why am I always calling you? Maybe you should give me a call. Never think of that. So now got the KitchenAid out, and I'm like, okay, how do I make this? Okay, I need Splenda. Of course, you could use sugar or maple syrup or whatever you want to use. And I always remember Splenda is way sweeter than you think it is, so don't use very much. And so I seem to remember something like, I couldn't remember, I think it was like a 1-to-3 ratio of Splenda to like almond flour. So I'm like, well, there was a third of a cup scoop in the Splenda already, so I'm like, maybe I use that. So I put a third of the cup of Splenda in there. It was too much. I really should have halved it, although everybody else said they were great the way they were. And then I put probably like 2 cups of almond flour, a big scoop of peanut butter. I didn't measure anything, guys. I'm just kind of like throwing stuff in there. And I put some unrefined coconut oil in there. And that has some sort of magical chemical in there that is supposed to be really good for your gut. So I put that in there. I melted it and put that in there. I put that in there after I realized that it was like very floury looking. It was very, very dry. It wasn't going to hold together. So I put a couple tablespoons of the coconut oil in there. This makes a huge batch, by the way. And I threw a couple scoops of vegan protein powder in there just for a little extra. And yeah, and I kind of just kept tweaking it until it formed a dough. And then I used a little melon baller. So this is the size of the peanut butter bites, the protein power bites that I made. I used a little melon baller to make these little melon balls of goodness. And I stuck them in the freezer. And then I melted some Trader Joe's vegan chocolate. That's the place to go. If you are dairy free, go to Trader Joe's. They have the best price on chocolate chips. They're really good. So you can get the dark. I think they have a couple different kinds that are vegan. And so I melted some of those. And I also, because we had a little snack pack of, because when we went hiking, we had put some peanuts, some honey roasted peanuts and some regular peanuts in a baggie. And we just didn't get to them. So it's sitting in the cupboard. And so I'm like, oh, I took my rolling pin, rolled over that, crushed those nuts right up, throw them in a bowl. And so here's what I did. Ooh, wait, the gripping conclusion. What did Lindsay do? I dipped the frozen peanut butter balls in the chocolate, and then I dipped them in the nuts, and I put them on a piece of wax paper to harden up, and did that to all of them, and they were so pretty. And, oh, I think I have a picture. Hold on. I've been so proud of myself. Let's see. So, this is what they look like. I don't know, does that show on camera? I don't know if is that gonna focus? I don't know. Well, I'm sure theater of the mind, you can imagine what they look like. They look delicious. And I ate one, and I was sweet sick, and I was done. I'm like, oh, okay. Sweet tooth, satisfied, I'm all set. So that's usually what happens if I bake something. I'm like, I'll have one, and then I'm like, oh, That's too sweet. So I wish I used less Splenda, but you know what? I think you could use no Splenda and it would still be absolutely delicious because you have peanut butter, you've got almond flour, you've got dark chocolate, and you've got nuts. And so, I mean, just that of it, this is such good flavors anyway, although it might make you want to eat more because you wouldn't get sweet sick right off the bat. I think if I was going to do it again, I definitely would use half the amount of Splenda. But since I didn't measure anything or write anything down, who the heck knows what I'm going to come up with next time? I don't know. Yeah, who can say? And my hair is having an interesting moment because I used to use the Caruso molecular hair setter in high school and college. And for those of you that don't remember that magical invention, it was a steam setter. It was like this little, you plug it in and it would create steam, and you put these foamy curlers on the thing and they would get filled with steam, and then you roll your hair up in it and have these little plastic things that clamp over them. You could put those on the steam and put those on top, and that would give you like a little extra moisture to help lock in the curl, and it worked great. But they don't stay in my hair very well, so I put my hair up in them. Then I took like a bag and because the curlers want to slide out of my hair, so I put the bag around my hair, and then I put a clip there to clip it up there. And then I went outside on the deck and I painted my World Watercolor Month, which was the freaky eye. And so it steamed. It kept steaming because there was still moisture in there. I couldn't get out because of the bag, but I couldn't take the bag off because then my curlers would fall out. So I took the curlers out and I could feel they were still damp. So I went back outside again to let the air, because it's a dry day today, let the air kind of dry it. And I was going to touch it up with a curling iron, but then I realized, no, it's actually fine. But I'm like, I want it to be shinier. So then I sprayed it with this shine spray, Fructis shine spray, which I think is like a silicone type spray. And that made the curl kind of loosen up. So I'm like, well, then I got to curl some parts. And so I tried to curl this part here, and I just ended up making it straight because my curling iron is like a really big barrel curling iron. But luckily I don't have any hot plans tonight, so I'll just be sitting here with limp hair. I'll put it up in something. But yeah, it's just gonna make it through the live stream. It's gonna make it through Michael's live stream, and that's it. That's all it needs to do. But let me see what else did I have to, so in retrospect, I'm not recommending the Caruso molecular hair setter because they need to get their act together. They need to make something. They need to what they need to do is, all right, if you're listening, who wants $1 million idea that works in the hair industry? You need to invent these. They used to have these little clips that you could put, and I think it was meant for the smaller, I gotta blow my nose. I think they're meant for the smaller rollers, and they don't come with them anymore, and I don't know where to buy them. So what they need to have is like a claw clip that's not like a claw clip that's just gentle, but it will go over those bigger curlers, but it's tough enough that it'll hold your hair in, but it's not going to compress the foam. So just a gentle clip. We need a gentle clip to go over those, because those little plastic things they're selling are not doing the job. They're not cutting it. And I'm quite upset because it was a Christmas present from my darling husband, because I said I wanted a Caruso molecular hair setter again, and I was so surprised when I saw they still made them. Like, why haven't I heard they still make these? That's why I haven't heard, because they're not as good as they used to be. But I mean, it makes a steam. The rollers seem fine. It's just the outer clamp. So I need to find some clips, or somebody needs to design them. So if we have any inventors out there, there you go. $1 million idea. You're welcome. Maybe not $1 million idea though, because it's only going to pertain to people that own the Caruso. You know what you need to do? You need to, I should just call Caruso. Mr. Caruso, have I got an idea for you? Now I've told the world though, so I guess it doesn't matter. Well, patent pending, you can see you heard it here first. I came up with that idea. Yeah, I should call him up. Say, hey, is there a 1-800 number on the box? Sure, Mr. Caruso's there, waiting for a phone call, waiting for a brilliant idea. That was funny. I was using masking fluid for that. I'll link to that if you want to join Critique Club. By the way, there's a discount. If you're a Critique Club member, this is up now, and there's a discount to the glass class in the Critique Club lesson for this project, if you've wanted to grab that, because you might be so inspired to paint more glass after you see that. And if you're a beginner and you're like, there's no way I can't paint that. Yes, you can. It's broken up into 8 parts. You can do this. But anyway, I was using masking fluid, and it was Winsor Newton masking fluid, and that's what I recommend for masking fluid, because I've had that for like decades, and it is still liquid in the jar. It's still completely usable. It'll probably last me a lifetime if it doesn't go bad, because I rarely use masking fluid. But the jar is so old that, first of all, it's glass, and they switched to plastic like probably 10 years ago. And there's no website on the jar. It's just like a number, 1-800 number to someplace in New Jersey. Made in England though. So it's kind of funny. I was very tempted to call the number, but who wants to pick up a phone call and dial a number nowadays? isn't that funny how it's like, ooh, anxiety, don't make me make a phone call, you know, is there a website? But yeah, oh, what else do I have to say? I gotta get back to my list. I've got food. I have food pictures there. I don't see, okay, so I did the Prime, oh my gosh, Amazon was really acting up on Prime Day. I tried to do my list and I couldn't, it wasn't letting me copy the links. So I ended up just adding to my Amazon storefront influencer page, whatever, and putting deals that I saw in there and stuff that I use and I recommend. Other people, there were some people that recommended some deals to me, but if I hadn't used them, I didn't want to recommend them if it was something, I mean, if it was like a porcelain palette from a company where I've used other porcelain palettes, I mean, obviously that would be fine, but if it was like a brush brand that I never used, or, you know, I wasn't like, I'm not going to recommend that just because it's probably fine, but if I haven't used it, I didn't want to recommend it. But yeah, I didn't see any really crazy awesome deals. There were some good prices on stuff, but I mean, the one thing that I was tempted by, I'm not a Prime member, so I didn't buy anything, but the one thing I was tempted by was Shin Hands gouache sets of 24 were like $56 and 52 and 56 depending on the size, and the 12 color set was like $26. I paid $54 for the 12 color set and I was thrilled with them at that price. So I was like, man, if I was a Prime member I totally would have bought that, but I'm like, Lindsay, you don't need it. You do not need it. You've got Turner gouache you bought to review, you haven't even opened yet. You need to deal with that first, and if you end up spending an extra 20 bucks for that thing because you waited, at least you can use what you have first. It's, you know, it doesn't need to live in your room. I went through, I was tidying up yesterday because I was just feeling like I was just getting suffocated by the stacks of things that I want to review. And I do want to do some gouache this month during World Watercolor Month because gouache is an opaque watercolor. I thought about doing gouache for my little eyeball, but and doing it on tone tan paper, but I had that I just wanted to get it done. I knew I had a busy day, so I didn't want to add too much on it. I was thinking that I might do a video on my sketchbook because my table over there is like freshly painted and clean, so it's like nothing gross would get on my paper if I had, because I use big sheets of paper when I make my sketchbook. These sketchbooks are made, I'll show you this one because this was actually done, this one I made this one out of scraps that I had cut down from like so many old projects, but this is made with 2 full sheets of watercolor paper, 2 22 by 30 sheets, and you tear them down to 8s, and then you fold them in half and make your book with those. So you end up with 64 pages of like around 5 by, maybe it might be a little bit bigger than 5 by 7. It's more like 6 by 7.5. And yeah, it's great. It's great. It's my favorite thing. Once you learn how to make sketchbooks, I swear you're not going to settle for much that is available at stores. I still have a bunch to use up. I'm still tempted though. Somebody shows me a $6 sketchbook on sale, and it's like, oh, maybe I should try that. I don't need to try that. I don't need to try that. So yeah, I'm trying to think what I have coming up next week. Oh, I have something fun coming up next Wednesday, a tutorial for, I'm almost out of time here, a tutorial for these sheep using a Sparkle Pop pen. It was a gel pen that I found. I don't even know where it came from, but I was looking for a fountain pen, but I saw that and I'm like, oh, what the heck, let's see what happens if I sketch with this and then do watercolor, and it dissolves into the prettiest like purple ink. And so I've been playing with that a lot, so I have a tutorial on that coming up on Wednesday. Other than that, who the heck knows? Who the heck knows? Tune in for surprises, good artsy surprises. Thanks for watching. Happy crafting. Until next time. Bye. See you then. See you later.